Today we're delving into the story of Naamah, a significant figure in the Holy Scriptures found in the Old Testament of the Bible. She was an Ammonite princess, the daughter of Hanun, the king of the Ammonites. Naamah's narrative unfolds in the first book of Kings, chapter 14, 21-31. While her life remains veiled in mystery, we've gleaned crucial insights from the Bible and Jewish tradition to present in this video. For this effort, I kindly ask for your subscription to the channel and a click on the like button to help share our work. Naamah's life began as one of privilege. As the daughter of the Ammonite king, she grew up surrounded by wealth and power. Her eventual union with Solomon, the renowned king of Israel, celebrated for his wisdom and prosperity, was a momentous event that carried significant political and diplomatic implications. This marriage was not just a union of individuals, but one that bridged two nations often at odds with each other. The Ammonites, Naamah's people, were descendants of Lot, the nephew of Abraham, as recorded in Genesis 19, 37-38. Their lineage traces back to an incestuous relationship between Lot and his daughters after the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Historically, the Ammonites and Israelites were frequently at war, with many instances of conflict between them, including attacks on Israel during the time of Judges 3:13-14, 10:7-9. The enmity between the two nations was deeply rooted, making Naamah's marriage to Solomon not just unusual, but also politically sensitive. In 1 Kings 11, 1-4, we learn of Solomon's marriages to many foreign women, including Naamah. It states, King Solomon, however, loved many foreign women besides Pharaoh's daughter, Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites. They were from nations about which the Lord had told the Israelites, "You must not intermarry with them, because they will surely turn your hearts after their gods." Nevertheless, Solomon held fast to them in love. Solomon's marriage to Naamah, an Ammonite princess, was part of a pattern of forming political alliances through marriage. The Bible records that Solomon accumulated an astonishing number of wives, 700 wives of royal birth and 300 concubines, 1 Kings 11:3. His marriages were primarily for political gain, securing peace and trade with neighboring nations. Yet, his affection for Naamah seems to have been special, as she became the mother of Solomon's heir, Rehoboam, 1 Kings 14:21. Despite Solomon's wisdom and his early devotion to God, his love for foreign women, including Naamah, led to his spiritual downfall. As Solomon grew older, his heart was turned away from the God of Israel toward the gods of his foreign wives. This was precisely what God had warned about in Deuteronomy 17:17, where he cautioned the kings of Israel not to take many wives, lest their hearts be led astray. And yet Solomon, renowned for his wisdom, ignored this command, as 1 Kings 11:4 says, "As Solomon grew old, his wives turned his heart after other gods, and his heart was not fully devoted to the Lord his God, as the heart of David his father had been." Naamah, an Ammonite, would have likely worshipped the Ammonite god Milcom, also known as Molech. In 1 Kings 11:7 we read that Solomon built a high place for Chemosh, the detestable god of Moab, and for Molech, the detestable god of the Ammonites, on the hill east of Jerusalem. Solomon, in his later years, allowed the worship of these foreign deities, defiling the purity of Israel's monotheistic worship of Yahweh. The practice of worshiping Molech was particularly abhorrent, as it involved child sacrifice, a practice that God expressly forbade in Leviticus 18:21 and Leviticus 22:5. This grievous sin would have had devastating consequences for the kingdom, and it led to God's anger toward Solomon. As Solomon's heart turned away from God, a prophet named Ahijah delivered a fateful prophecy. In 1 Kings 11:29-31, Ahijah tore a new cloak into 12 pieces and gave 10 of them to Jeroboam, one of Solomon's officials. Ahijah declared that God would take 10 of the tribes of Israel away from Solomon's line and give them to Jeroboam, leaving only one tribe, Judah, under the rule of Solomon's descendants. The division of Israel into two kingdoms was a direct result of Solomon's idolatry and failure to remain faithful to God. God said in 1 Kings 11:11-13, "Since this is your attitude and you have not kept my covenant and my decrees, I will most certainly tear the kingdom away from you and give it to one of your subordinates. Nevertheless, for the sake of David your father, I will not do it during your lifetime. I will tear it out of the hand of your son." Though Solomon's sin was great, God's promise to David remained. For the sake of David, God allowed Solomon's lineage to continue ruling over Judah, but the united kingdom of Israel would be torn apart. After Solomon's death, his son Rehoboam, whose mother was Naamah, 1 Kings 14:21, ascended to the throne. Rehoboam's reign, however, was marked by folly and harshness. When the people of Israel asked him to lighten the heavy taxes and forced labor that Solomon had imposed on them, Rehoboam foolishly ignored the advice of his elders and threatened to increase their burdens. As a result, 10 of the 12 tribes of Israel rebelled and followed Jeroboam, fulfilling Ahijah's prophecy, 1 Kings 12:16-19. This division led to the formation of two separate kingdoms: the northern kingdom of Israel, ruled by Jeroboam, and the southern kingdom of Judah, ruled by Rehoboam. Rehoboam's harsh policies and poor leadership led to a weakened and divided nation. Moreover, Rehoboam followed in his father's footsteps, committing evil in the sight of the Lord. 1 Kings 14:22-24 describes how Judah did evil in the eyes of the Lord, provoking his anger with their idolatrous practices. Though little is directly stated about Naamah in the Bible, her influence on the royal family of Judah is undeniable. As the mother of Rehoboam, she played a role in the continuation of David's royal line. Despite the failures of Solomon and Rehoboam, God remained faithful to his covenant with David, ensuring that a descendant of David would continue to reign over Judah. 2 Samuel 7:12-16. Naamah's presence as an Ammonite within the royal family also highlights the tensions between Israel's calling to be a holy nation and the temptations to blend with foreign nations and their gods. Her marriage to Solomon, while politically advantageous, also contributed to the spiritual decline of the kingdom, demonstrating the long-reaching consequences of alliances that are not rooted in faithfulness to God. Naamah's story, though brief in the biblical record, serves as a reminder of the dangers of spiritual compromise. Solomon's love for foreign women, including Naamah, led him to allow idol worship in Israel, a direct violation of God's commandments. This compromise ultimately contributed to the division of the kingdom and set the stage for the idolatry that plagued both. For modern believers, the story of Solomon and Naamah illustrates the importance of guarding our hearts against influences that pull us away from God. Proverbs 4:23 advises, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Solomon, despite his wisdom, failed to guard his heart, and the consequences were devastating. It also reminds us that even those who are blessed with wisdom and favor from God are still vulnerable to temptation. No matter how much we know or how strong we believe ourselves to be, we must remain vigilant and faithful to God's commands, resisting the temptations that lead us away from Him. The story of Naamah and Solomon is ultimately one of spiritual compromise and its consequences. Solomon's failure to remain fully devoted to God, influenced in part by his love for foreign women like Naamah, led to the fracture of the kingdom and a period of spiritual decline. Yet even in this dark chapter of Israel's history, God's faithfulness to His promises remained unshaken. Though the kingdom was divided, God continued to work through the line of David, ultimately bringing forth the Messiah, Jesus Christ, from this royal lineage. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey through the story of Naamah and Solomon. If you found these narratives thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Your support means a lot to us. If you enjoyed the video, please take a moment to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your suggestions for future content. Together, let's continue exploring the rich tapestry of biblical narratives and timeless lessons. Stay tuned for more, and may God be with you.